about already, teams seem to have their own unique map pools coming into Stage 2, much more than they did in Stage 1.
Yeah, definitely. Well, immediately Sinuous banned out. I mean, we don't see it banned that often, Sinuous. We just see it kind of left. Well, Sinuous and Frosty. Okay, well, there you go.
We're seeing some pretty normal maps.
Yeah, this feels very much like the All-Stars Championship to me right now. This is interesting. Airwalk is the first map we are going to see. Again, a relatively, you know, everybody has been practicing this map. I think it is one of the ones that looked the most difficult, or the most difficult to be consistent on when we kind of started out, and teams have kind of figured out that it's relatively consistent. So everybody's getting quite good at that one. Control is second.
Control picked second. We saw plenty of it yesterday in the end as well, but not necessarily in the first 4 maps. Pool, we did see plenty of in those first 4 maps. Vortex is going to make an appearance. Those are our guaranteed maps for this match from here on out. If one team starts to dominate, we're out of maps that maybe you will see. So I think the first 2 picks for each team, you expect to be the comfort picks, or maps they're very confident on. From here on out, things get a little bit more interesting. Off-road in 5, braking in 6, and if things go all the way down to the wire, grip will round things off.
Yeah, I'm very happy that we're seeing kind of different, because, you know, in Stage 1, not only did every team have a similar map pool, but they also picked the same maps in the top 4 every single time. So we always started things off pretty much with slowdown, and then we go into back and forth, and it was just kind of the same thing over and over again, because every team was comfortable on the same maps, and most comfortable on the same maps. This time, you know, everybody has a different order that they go for things in, so we see different we see different maps played in different areas of this as well. So, you know, we're guaranteed going to see Airwalk in this one. There was no guarantee we were going to see Airwalk in, for instance, the second match, or sorry, the first matchup yesterday. So it's interesting. I like seeing that there's some variance going on.
Absolutely, and seeing whether or not that map pool does kind of contract over the course of the season, or if players here in Stage 2 with a little bit more comfort in the format, because of course Stage 1 was the first time any of these teams, any of these players were playing in that format. I guess we'll see if, now that they have a little bit more comfort, now that they know a little bit more what they're doing when it comes to this pick ban, they make the decision to maybe focus a little bit more, maybe go for more unorthodox picks and play around with that pick ban a little bit more.
Yeah, I hate to, you know, like, take the focus away from the teams that are playing right now. Apparently Scrappy is playing Cup of the Day at the moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is great warm-up. To be fair,
warm-up.
going for 100 wins, fair enough. Absolutely okay. But either way, now it's ORKSGP NUMELOPS versus BS+Competition. We're going to start things off on Airwalk. Let's see if anybody falls off the bumpers to begin with. I don't think so. I think everybody is absolutely okay for the time being.
We'll get the other cars turned on very soon here, I've no doubt. At the moment, though, we're just going to watch. There we go. Hey. Now we can see the rest of them. And yeah, I don't think anyone fell off the bumpers. Panda's made an early mistake, and it is BS+Competition out to an early lead. That dazzle of zebras are dazzling with their first few turns.
Ah, the zoology factor back. I love it.
Back,
very
baby.
Good. Yeah, look, do you know anything about marine life? Maybe you can tell us about octopuses, octopi?
They're really cool. I do love octopuses. Okay, very awesome. Remind me to come up with more facts in the future.
Love that. Okay, I will do that. We'll check back in week 7. Either way, Snow and Glass in first and second place at the moment, holding hands very much through to the end of Airwalk. Complex and Panda out towards the back. Complex not back by too much, and actually is caught up towards that last bumper there before the identity. Snow still in first position. Can they get some good lines going on here? Panda with a really wide angle, may just overshoot. Doesn't overshoot, gets it done, but Complex is in first place to start things off, and somehow BS+Competition have completely lost those positions that they held for the start of the map.
It's a great comeback from ORKSGP NUMELOPS in this one. Panda, especially on that final jump. Look, Blast does crash it anyway. Forced to respawn on the identity. Drops back by 7 seconds. But Panda was in position to catch up potentially anyway with a great final line. And we'll see if that holds true then in the next few rounds. How consistent are these players on the identities this early in the season is going to decide a lot in these early matches. And it may be an early match. We may not be seeing the best that these players will have to offer by the time the end of the stage rolls around. But these early wins count just the same towards your final season standing.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that massively in Stage 1. Obviously, Sprout and Alternate Attacks both had early losses. Sprout lost in their first week, Alternate Attacks lost in their second week, and they were impactful. Obviously, both teams were probably happy that the other team also lost a game early on, but one of those teams could have got a flawless record over the course of the season. Glass hanging a wheel brings him back, and once again, ORKSGP NUMELOPS in the driver's seat this round.
Yeah, they're happily cruising on this one, and given how strong they looked in the back half of the map in that last round on this identity as well, we'll see if they can hold on to it, pick up this ace. Complex is jumping shorter than Glass. Glass is going to try and snipe from the line. Snow with a lot of speed up in front will manage to snipe out Panda, and Glass will beat Complex, who is forced to respawn with a short jump on that bumper, not making it to the finish line. It's going to be BS+Competition tying things back up with a win of their own.
Really good time as well, 108.7. We're getting within half a second there of the world record set by Muda at the moment. I think that's probably, I would have to check if that is a, yes, that is a Challenger League record, but that's obviously not too difficult to beat since we've only played this once so far. I'm not gonna say every time we get a Challenger League record up until, you know, like week 3 or so, but either way. Now things even up, and once again, I mean, as soon as you get to the identity, everything can change. The lines you can take in there can be absolutely insane. You can save seconds.
Yeah, but we're seeing some players going for those shorter jumps to land on that second bumper a little bit quicker. And yesterday and today now, it is costing players. If you jump a little bit too short, over-release a little bit, or I guess clip your wheel at that exact section of track, as has happened now 2 rounds in a row for different players. There's room to lose in the end, is what I'm trying to say here. Yeah,
well, we'll see if Panda can make up that half-second difference on Snow and Glass at this point. But once again, BS+Competition, now the team out in front. Panda, I think, clips a wheel once again, loses a bit more speed. He's going to have to make it all up in the air here. But Glass and Snow stay in first and second place, and it's looking real good from them. Complex with a low line, but it's not enough. And Glass and Snow finish within 1,000th of each other to get that ace.
Zebra is sitting very comfortably around a campfire with its friend this time around as BS+Competition pick up the first ace of the match. And after a slow start, after a first round where they do lose it in the identity to give up the win, they're now out to that 3-point lead. An ace is always impactful, but especially one from a tied position feels very, very good.
Definitely. Now 3-6 the scoreline. BS+Competition really going to be wanting to take this one away. Obviously, Orcs just barely, I think, the higher seed in this one. Really not much separating the two teams coming into this stage, but they do get that advantage of being able to pick first. And if BS+Competition can take away a map like Airwalk straight away, that would be really impactful on the series.
And we kind of asked how practiced would these teams look coming in. We're only half a map in so far, really, but the answer so far is very well practiced. You know, they're setting times that are comparable to the best we've seen out of yesterday's matches as well. Glass will have a little bit of an error there, but up at the front, there's 3 players still going strong, still looking to set very good times, and it's going to be tight all the way down to the end once again. Snow has managed to get an overtake onto Panda. Now in the air, how does this one shake on out? Snow is going to look to snipe out Complex at the line. I think he's done it. He has by 300ths of a second. Snow will turn that round into a draw, deny the win.
You could see how flat that line was on the identity. They're absolutely just cutting it as close as possible, trying to get as much speed through into that second bumper as you can. If you have to release a lot before going onto that second bumper, you lose so much speed going towards the finish line, and then you have to take a higher line on that one as well. It loses you a bunch of time. Snow did so well to keep his angle as flat as possible.
Yeah, and keeping it flat, keeping it clean so far. BS+Competition now on track point. The first team to do so in this match, the first team to do so today. And will they manage to close it out cleanly from here? Do ORKSGP NUMELOPS have something up their sleeve? Because, look, they're still only an ace away from getting straight back into this match.
Oh, Complex clips his wheel there onto the wall. Falls a little further back. So far, we have had, you know, an outlier in every single round. We've had a player that drops back by about, you know, 7/10 or so. And generally, by the end of the round, they're right back up with the rest of the squad. Obviously, you know, pressure makes diamonds. You can push all the way through. Panda also has fallen down. It could just be over right here, right now. It's going to have to be a pretty impressive identity from either Complex or Panda to stop BS+Competition from winning their map pick here. Out goes Snow and Glass, and it's looking good from both of them. It's a great line. Complex tries to get a nice angle on that one, but overshoots just a little bit. Well, undershoots, I guess. And it is an ace from BS+Competition. Gives them that map.
Yeah, 10-4 the final scoreline. Stronger, I think, than the performances would suggest over the course that Orcs looked competitive. Right up until they didn't, in some ways. And that's good. It's a good start to the match for them.
Yeah.
In the sense that their times were good, they looked fine, but the consistency let them down. That was their map pick, and now we move to their opponent's map pick. They're trailing, having lost on Airwalk. NumeLops will need to do a bit of work here to catch back up on control.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for them to get this one done. As we've seen, I think, you know, we've only had, well, I mean, we've had one in each direction go towards the team that did not pick the map so far here in the Challenger League. And that's, you know, I would say that compared to stage 1, that's absolutely nothing. You know, it is very likely, I think, in this stage that the team that picks a map is probably going to win it. You know, apart from maps like Airwalk, like maybe Grip, like some of the maps that we saw in the All-Stars Championship that teams have practiced a lot, there are some maps that are just going to go one way or the other, absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, look, I was talking earlier as well, Twiggy, about how these teams, they come in, they look practiced, they look ready for these maps. They were setting good times relative to the Challenger League yesterday at the start of it. And for these middle of the table teams as well, these early season wins could turn out to be so important, because my mind goes to Exalti last season. We haven't seen them yet. We won't see them until Saturday, but they looked like one of the stronger teams in many ways in the Challenger League come the end of last season, but missed out due to a fairly horrendous start in some of the matches that they probably could have, maybe should have won by the end of the season. And both of these teams pretty clearly aware of that. They've come in trying to win early.
Yeah, and Snow definitely looks like he's very comfortable on control so far. Glass with an early mistake just loses enough speed that it just compounds the issue and falls back further into fourth position with 5 seconds between him and the leader. But Snow is setting an absolute screamer of a round. It is unreal. Absolutely no mistakes or complex clips a little bit. But a 110.9 to start things off is one way to make a message happen.
That is quick. Unfortunately, Glast is down there, nearly 6 seconds behind, which means a draw for our first round here. But on pure pace in that first round, hard to see how NumeLops are going to be matching Snow. And if Glast is anywhere near those times as well, this could start to turn into the 2-0 against ORKSGP NUMELOPS very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those maps where there are going to be teams that are really good at it. There are going to be teams that are struggling to keep up a little bit. I think Control is just one of those maps where if you practice lines really well, you're going to get a really good run out of it all the time. And I've seen some players really grinding out this practice here on Control. And, you know, there are some players that can just consistently set insane times. I've seen Dexter setting 110, like, threes consistently on stream. And that's really impressive to see. Now, whether you can do that in a live setting or not, completely different story. And I'm, you know, I want to see if BS+Competition can bring out those kinds of times over and over again, because that's the important part, right? If you can set a time in practice, it is what it is, right? But if you can set that consistently on the server, that's insane.
Oh, Snow is full risking right now, only to overtake his teammate, but hey, you still love to see it, and it does mean that it is going to be the 1-2 for BS+Competition, heading on into this identity with a crash from Panda as well. That 1-2 looking a whole lot safer. It's awkward from Snow, has still made it. His wobbling is going to get overtaken. Complex is there to capitalize. It'll still be a win, but the ace thrown away in the final jump.
Yeah, it wasn't even that bad of a mistake, just took a little too much height into the jump, and it just like flipped the car in an awkward way, and suddenly you've got a bit of a wheel touch, you get a massive slowdown, Complex gets a better line, it's all done. The identity on this one can be so punishing if you don't get the right line. You want as low a line as possible. You don't want to be going into the air for too long, obviously, in the same way you would take a quarter pipe jump, but this is just, you know, a quarter pipe jump, but more complex.
Yeah, complex.
I didn't mean it. I didn't.
I know you didn't. I didn't even have a good follow-up joke for it. I just recognized the use of the word. Now I'm moving on forward, and I want to talk about the no-break section in the middle of the map. Those S-bends that you drive through, because to me, that is a section of the map that is really going to highlight player comfort on this map. How often you've driven it is going to dictate how much you are willing to risk and how much you are able to risk on that section. So far, BS+Competition definitely looking like they're going to gain a few tenths through that section fairly consistently.
Yeah, well, Snow takes a little early mistake, and mistakes really kind of pile up in this map. I think obviously you need speed for pretty much every jump. The more speed you take into the jump, the more speed you're going to take out of the jump most of the time, depending on your angle. And that's why Snow is finding it very difficult to keep up with the rest of the pack here. Panda and Complex holding hands into the final jump. Glass right behind, pouncing on any mistakes, but there are no mistakes from Panda and Complex. They cross the line. It's not an insane time, but it's good enough to get that ace.
Yeah, the first round, that time that we saw to kick things off, down in the 110s, yet to make a reappearance. 1:11.34 is now the winning time in our last 2 rounds. And NumeLops, they're more than capable of setting that up. And BS+Competition, while they looked very, very quick in that first round, they're struggling to recreate it. Early mistakes, pre-identity from the teamer, even that one mistake in the identity as well, costing the ace back the other way. And it could prove to be very costly. They now sit 2 points down on their own map pick.
Yeah, and you can see that Glass and Snow definitely have the quality to take this map away. They seem comfortable here, but there's just a couple of mistakes creeping in that are making it very difficult for them to do that, that one from Snow as he goes a little too wide, touches his wheels to the wall, has to respawn. That's going to send him way further back, and Glass now has to do all the hard work, and I think has an awkward exit out of the ice bobsleigh there.
Yeah, it's looking to catch back up now. I said that they were quicker through this section. You're going to need to risk a little bit. It looks like Glass is carrying a little bit more speed around the second turn, but choosing not to go too tight to that inside wall on the exit means that no real gains to be made. Complex and Panda are holding it together and are holding hands around these final turns, and Glass has overjumped. Panda and Complex, if they can keep it clean to the finish, will find 2 aces in a row. They'll find them. 8-3 the scoreline. Track point for ORKSGP NUMELOPS.
And here's the thing, ORKSGP NUMELOPS have been setting times in the 1:11s. They have not been getting, you know, the same kind of time that Snow set in the first round. BS+Competition can set, it seems like, quicker times here than ORKSGP NUMELOPS. It's just that Orks are more consistent right now. BS+Competition are pushing themselves too hard.
Yeah, and it's costing them a little bit. Part of the issue being that there's an early mistake maybe coming through from one of the players each time. That's forcing the other player to start to go a little bit more risky to try and break up that ace the other way. At least that's been the story in the last 2 rounds. If it happens again now, they're in a lot of trouble, because at this point they can't even afford to lose a round, and really they need to find a couple of aces of their own between now and the end of the map if they want to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it's going to be very difficult to just keep yourself in the game at this point. You know, the mental fortitude to try and get back those 5 points. Obviously, needing an ace at some point to get that done. Glass with a very good line, and may just take a little more speed here into the bobsleigh. This is an incredibly important exit. Snow and Glass both get it well, but so do Panda and Complex, and Snow hits the wall once again, finding it hard to control his car on the exit of that one, and just falls back a little bit further. Glass is keeping up with Panda, is very close. It's all going to come down to the final couple of jumps as Complex trails in 3rd position. Panda goes in first, gets that good jump. No, not a good jump whatsoever. Falls back all the way. Glass now in the driver's seat and Complex right behind. Can he keep it clean for this final jump? It's slow, but he gets the good angle. He gets it done. He's over the line, and it is a round win for BS+Competition. It gets him 1 point closer, but it's really just not enough.
1 point closer when you're 4 points behind and your opponent is on 9 is cold comfort. It's not a huge amount. You now need to get at least 1 ace in this next round, and from there on out, well, a second ace would win it cleanly, and if you don't get the win, or if you do just get a round win, we're into overtime. BS+Competition with a lot of work remaining to do. It's better from them, and there's at least mistakes coming out from ORKSGP NUMELOPS, but again, you don't want to be relying on that. Just keep it clean yourself. Try and put this one beyond doubt.
Yeah, Complex and Panda looking real confident right now, honestly. Obviously not their map pick, but maybe they have practiced this one quite a bit as well. Obviously, you never know with the first couple of map picks whether or not Orks would have picked this if BS+Competition didn't. Panda and Complex seeming, you know, very well kind of prepared for this map. Glass trying to put his best performance in, and Snow has been doing really well, but just made enough mistakes that he hasn't been able to do that. His line outside of the bobsleigh there is absolutely brilliant. It just sends him way further forward. Now it's whether or not he can keep that position up.
Oh no, Glass, that's the risk of trying to go too far inside on the exit. And that does mean that, barring a massive error from both players from NumeLops, this one is done. At least the draw looking to be in the bag right now. Complex and Panda keep it clean, cruise to the finish line. Snow will manage to win the round, but that is not enough at this late stage. ORKSGP NumeLops tie this match back up.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Sorry for BS+Competition there. I'm so choked up at that, obviously. Yeah,
It's an emotional moment, Twiggy.
Yeah, it really is. BS+Competition just lose out on their map pick because of a couple of mistakes, really. That's all it was, one per round. It's like losing your driver's, or sorry, not passing your driver's test to one major every single time you take it. Don't ask me how many times I took my practical driver's test. I don't want to admit that on stream. But yeah,
Fair,
no,
fair.
that's really unfortunate. Now we're going to move into pool, and obviously we're back to the highest seeds map pick, ORKSGP NUMELOPS. And they're going to be very thankful that they managed to keep the consistency ready to keep themselves within arm's reach of BS+Competition there.
Absolutely, they really pooled their resources halfway through that last map, managed to keep control then the entire way through, and airwalked their way all the way to the tied match. That last one, I'll admit, that was a bit of a reach, but we are going to head into pool, and it will be interesting to see the lines when we get into the identity here. A couple of different choices really between speed and safety for the players, and personal choice really seeming to dictate rather than team strategy a lot of the time what players are going for.
Yeah, well, we've yet to see a team get a map cushion based off of a, well, apart from obviously the 4-0 yesterday, but, you know, get a cushion off of beating their opponent's map pick so far. Generally, they go back in the other direction. Snow has a really awkward start to the track there, just problems compounding each other over and over again, and again, Glass is the one who has to save his teammate.
It looked for a second there like he had the better line out. It looked like he was carrying a little bit more speed and had straightened out earlier, but not quite the case, as the shorter line gives NumeLops the retained lead towards the end of this track. It's not a surefire thing. There is less than a tenth between the top three players here, and that final line through the identity is going to matter so much.
Yeah, Glass is going for the risk, yeah. But Glass importantly does go for that risky line, and oh no, both ORKSGP NUMELOPS players crash into a wall. Snow might just be able to catch up a little bit now. Maybe not to Panda, but maybe to Complex. Glass gets over the finish line. I think Complex has dealt with the fact that he crashed and just gone for it anyway. Snow, yeah, it doesn't matter what mistakes you make anymore. It's fine. The points have already been distributed across all of the players. 105.7, a very good time from Glass taking that risky line through the identity, but all it results in is a draw.
There's a lot of shame corners on this identity, isn't there?
Yes.
Roll on out and you're like, oh dear, I'm just gonna sit here for a few seconds and think about things. We'll see. Hopefully not too many visits to those corners over the course of the season, but definitely one there for Snow. An unfortunate error early on, really costing BS+Competition, but a fantastic performance from Glass to manage to overtake and put the pressure on both players. And ORKSGP NUMELOPS, both players making a mistake in the identity on that first round, when really it's the lowest pressure that you're going to get over the course of the map. When, you know, points are at 0-0, you're just looking to keep one player in first place when you have two there. And it's not a great look on that last round, but that's not a great look from Glass, making the mistake that Snow made earlier, touching a wall and dropping a long way down. Yeah,
it's interesting that we're not really seeing any players go for safe lines or you know, just trying to survive their way through a round, especially in this lobby. ORKSGP NUMELOPS and BS+Competition, every player is giving it their all. We're seeing a lot of mistakes happen due to that. Snow going for the risky line this time and does overtake Complex, overtakes Panda, who slides out a little bit in the water as well. Can he get that final overtake done? He gets it for the time being, but Complex has more speed. Maybe he can get that line back done. No, he cannot. Snow stays in first position by 300ths and gets that done, forces another draw.
That was a gorgeous identity from Snow. All four wheels maintaining his grip the entire way through, keeping the lines smooth, and really that was the difference maker. Complex, it was still very quick. There were just a couple of awkward moments. And that's a very awkward moment for Panda to kick things off here, immediately dropping behind. 2 rounds have ended in draws. Is Complex going to hold on and turn this into our third?
Well, it's going to be incredibly important that he does, but Glass and Snow have now put on heroic performances each. And that's got to be good for the confidence moving on forward. Complex and Panda have just been losing positions as BS+Competition, I feel like, in their minds, have been gaining positions by, you know, just forcing those draws out of ORKSGP NUMELOPS. Now, Glass is staying in first place, setting together a very good time so far. Complex trying to catch up, but Snow is right behind, keeping that pressure on, and I think overtakes Complex over into the dirt section, not taking the outside to begin with. Gonna have a little less speed up into the uphill sausage section now, but it's all going to come down to the identity once again. BS+Competition looking well practiced on those outside lines, take way more speed than Complex into that first turn. Complex just can't quite catch up at this point, trying to get it done in that final turn. Snow plays it safe, stays ahead of Complex, and it's a 1-2 for Glass and Snow. They get over the line, a 105.6 gets it done. The ace for BS+Competition.
They're taking the riskier line. They're making it look safe. BS+Competition will pick up an ace again. This is feeling similar to how the first map went. It was close to begin with. We ended up tied at 3-3. BS+Competition then blew NumeLops out with 2 aces in a row. A superior consistency just started to tell, and it's looking like it may well be the case again.
It looks that way. Maybe we will not have a team win their map pick at all over the course of this series. That would be pretty impressive indeed. But now, BS+Competition, once again, they're feeling confident about this one. And you can just tell that, you know, the wins that they have got over the past couple of rounds are impacting the way that they play. Maybe it got to Glass's head a little bit too much there as he takes the wrong line, drives a little over to the right there. Snow now trying to catch up to Complex and Panda, and maybe we're going to see a 5-5 scoreline now.
I mean, genuinely just really interesting to see how this match has played out so far, with the team that did not make the selection just looking
so
more
good.
comfortable on the map so far, and especially in this pool identity. BS+Competition are looking great right up until that moment, but that small touch doesn't look to have cost Snow. He'll have to release a little bit going around that final turn. Has saved it. Will hold on. It's going to be 6,000 as Snow manages to hold.
The double snipe from Snow is absolutely monumental, coming back from about 2/10 behind to get 1/10 ahead of the third place player. Keeps those points in BS+Competition's favor. That's got to feel real good. You were staring down the barrel at having a 0-point difference between the two teams. You've maintained that 3-point difference. Absolutely unreal. Snow is a hero at the moment. Now just got to get it done, and I think ORKSGP NUMELOPS are feeling the pressure now. Complex and Panda both fall back. Panda by quite a large margin.
I'm not convinced it was worth wicket points because there was no real trick, but oh boy, that's Complex flying on out. I just want to give credit to Snow for managing to snipe 2 players from 2/10 back while hitting a wall.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty impressive. The man has ice in his veins. Sorry, I stole that from chat. Anyway, Glass and Snow now on a 1-2. And once again, I think that pressure is a big part for ORKSGP NUMELOPS. Having wins stolen away from them on this map over and over again must just be a massive mental factor in towards this map now. And it feels like it's just falling away from them way too quickly. BS+Competition staring down the barrel now of having 9 points to themselves. Glass and Snow cross the line at 105.8. Once again, a solid time. And yeah, ORKSGP NUMELOPS just can't keep afloat in pool.
Yep. Get these players a pair of floaties and maybe send them back to the beginner swimming lessons right now. I mean, look, it's not bad. They've been setting some good times. The consistency has been lacking, and unfortunately for them, it's just pure pace as well on the side of BS+Competition. They know this identity already inside out, and they are driving it incredibly well under pressure. It's massive clutch from BS+Competition.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And, you know, you've got to think if this is going to carry on into the next map, obviously the first map was not, you know, BS+Competition absolutely dominating. This feels dominant at this point. They have just not given Orks any breathing room whatsoever. Orks are on for an ace. Fine, we'll take first position and make sure you don't get anything out of it. You know, you know, we have some crashes happen. Yeah, we'll take some points back for you, and just make sure that ORKSGP NUMELOPS aren't getting anything out of it now. And it feels like, you know, they're being suppressed completely now. Glass in first position, and once again, ORKSGP NUMELOPS fighting to keep in the game.
I mean, as much as we do love to talk about consistency, how important it is in this format, in the Challenger League in general, this is one of those rare maps where it is also just coming down to incredibly clutch performances and great snipes towards the end. And Glass is looking to do it again, this time holding off Panda while Snow attempts to come back from behind. All they need is one player in the top 2, and this one is done. Glass is not going to be letting go of that one. Looks at a 105.3, and Panda is less than a 10th behind as well. An incredible round. It ends in a draw. That's all BS+Competition need. They will take their 2nd map win of the match.
The previous Challenger League record there set by Scandia yesterday, a 105.432. That has been beaten by about 600ths there. by Glass. Absolutely insane from BS+ Competition. That is what you want to be doing. It doesn't matter if that was their map pick or not. That is a standout performance. Just the clutches that came on through the snipes, the ability to keep back players that were setting brilliant times there. Unreal. Real good.
That's the Challenger League record. It accidentally wandered into the glass zone and got exploded. I don't know what to tell you. It's, you gotta stay out of the glass zone. I mean,
no.
It's a very dangerous place if you're a track record.
You don't want to get glassed. Oh man.
You don't want to enter a bar fight and get glassed. That's a very British joke right there. And
yeah, it really is.
Hey, look, it's Vortex.
Yes, it is. I was gonna, yeah, no. Let's not talk about violent acts at a bar anymore. Let's carry on with the esports going on. Complex for now with some better jumps going on in first position. Snow and Glass keep second and third position as Panda falls back a little further. But once again, Vortex is one of those maps where anything can happen towards the end of the map. You could just be, a couple of degrees off of one of those pipes and absolutely crash into, one of the TIE Fighter-esque rings that go around them.
Yeah, I mean, with that said, we saw Vortex in our one match yesterday between alternate attacks and Omino's Sun.
Yeah.
And honestly, players looked fine on the identity, even when it was, Omino's Sun having some issues. It was near the start of the track. By the time they got to the identity, they were managing to get through it. And we're seeing a similar thing here now as, well, nearly. Snow will fall off towards the end of that track. Plus L, plus ratio, and it will mean a round win should be going probably to NumeLops. Snow's still here.
I don't think so.
So far down, no, he has him. He has him. He has the speed. Snow does not have the pace, and somehow it is a round win by only a second. 13 seconds adrift from the lead. ORKSGP NUMELOPS still pick up the round win.
Snow probably saw that split and went, can I can I full respawn here? Can I? I'm just gonna go for it, and it's just not enough. 1 second behind after the double respawn there. Really unfortunate. Yeah. Ouch.
I'm just saying, Complex reversed before going forward off the spinner at the start, and I have no idea if that was... Is it quicker? Was it more intentional?
Well,
he ended up in a very similar position. We will, yeah. I mean, it didn't really seem to gain him anything, but maybe there is a chance that it gains something, and it's low risk. Low risk, decent reward. You take those odds every time. Complex is still in the running here. It's Snow who has made the mistake. BS+ Competition might drop further behind unless Glass can manage to hold on one more time to turn this one into a draw, but he is falling to Complex now, who carries superior speed.
Like Daft Punk, it is just one more time. He needs to get it done here, staying in first position. Complex now overtaking a little more speed through into the identity. Panda clips a wall. He's going to have to respawn, maybe lose a bit out of speed. Oh, yeah, Complex is gone. Never mind. Glass in first position. It's a really good performance here from Glass, getting that first place. A 106.2, a solid time indeed. I think, wait, is that... It's not a record, but it is within a bit of a record. It's very... it's within 100th of the Challenger League record set by Wosile.
Yeah, it is a quick time. It's a very quick time from Glass. This time around, BS+ Competition on their own map. Well, I say this time around. They showed they had the pace on control as well. He's going for it. And I guess there's a chance of a better launch then off the spinner. And this time around, it seems to have paid off a little bit better. He is carrying maybe a 10th, maybe less of speed. Looks like maybe less than a 10th, as Glass will be the first player through that next checkpoint. But hey, again, low risk and maybe a chance at a bit of a reward with a better launch off the spinner. Why not go for it?
Yeah, absolutely. It seems consistent for Complex. At the very least, he's not making a mistake. He's not losing speed off the back of it, so why not? Glass in first position, however, for the time being, trying to just improve a little bit on that last time. That's an awkward entry into the pool. I'm not sure what happened there, but he loses out massively, and Snow even further back. It's going to be difficult for BS+ Competition to get anything out of this round now.
I mean, I don't know what this trend is of teams just trading maps backwards and forwards that they didn't pick. Was this collusion before the match? Did they just agree to pick each other's maps instead? Were they all really thrown as the teams kept picking their maps away? Either way, ORKSGP NUMELOPS will not be winning this round, as Glass will benefit from players crashing out in front of him. Snow is there as well. Never mind all that. BS+ Competition have an ace.
Sure. We can delete the VOD. We can delete the VOD if you want, Orks.
You can do editing on VODs on Twitch and just cut out that little, the 15 seconds there.
Yeah, we'll just pretend we play like copyrighted music and just cut out that part of the VOD completely. Yeah, good idea. I like that. Oh yeah, Oh, it didn't work out.
Okay. And right as we were saying,
we can also cut out this part of the VOD as well. That's fine. Oh yeah, Panda is. Oh dear.
Hey, BS+ Competition might win their own map.
Never
mind.
We've reached the silly hour of the day, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. This is oh boy, Snow still, unscathed. So, guys? That's the first checkpoint. What are you doing?
We know you can drive this track. You have proved it several times already. We've seen you get within 100th of the Challenger League record.
The best 30 players in the world.
First checkpoint.
What is going on? Look. At least Snow is doing great. That's all that matters at this point.
Here's Glast in second place, 5 seconds behind Snow.
Snow's on track to, have one of the biggest gaps between the rest of the field here on Vortex we've ever seen at this point in time. I'm not sure what's going on, but Snow gets it done perfectly so far. And hey, there's a silver lining to the round. 106.1, a really solid time, would have been the Challenger League record if I was just informed earlier on that it got beaten. It's an ace. Look. Let's just delete the whole VOD. We can get rid of this.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Twiggy.
That was a round.
Oh, he's found a shame corner to poke his head into.
What the hell? I don't even. That was. Oh, I'm losing my mind.
Plus 40-second time, and I think our timeout is what, like 15 seconds? That's genuinely impressive.
Yeah. Man, I was like, wow, this is actually a really serious kind of day. We haven't made we've made some puns, but we haven't, gone over the top at all.
Yeah.
That you've just ruined it. It's been ruined. Oh man. Okay, well, hopefully we're all, we've got it all behind us now. We're getting out of the way.
It's out of the system.
Yeah, exactly. It's out of our system. All the silliness is gone. We can get going with some actual esports content. Once again, Complex in first position. I was informed earlier on that he actually did set a Challenger League record. He got into the 105s. First time anybody has done that here in the Challenger League. I think it was 105.8 or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. Yep. Last. Oh, clips a wheel. Complex clips a wheel. Never mind. The silliness is not done. 2 players missed the jump. The speed check there in that part of the map. Panda in first place. Snow has a little bit more speed, but maybe not enough to catch up to Panda. Not enough whatsoever. Panda will stay in first place. Snow trailing in second. Almost caught up at 106.0. Very good as well. It's a draw, but Orks need way more than a draw at this point.
We're in the position where a draw is as good as a win for BS+ Competition. 8-3 the score before this round. Now sitting at 9-4, BS+ Competition need a single point to become the first team in this match to win their own map pick. And while we said that maybe it took until now for Silly Hour to arrive, I think that's maybe a sign that we should have realized a lot earlier that Silly Hour was upon us from the very beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can try and suppress it, but it will always be there at this point. Snow clips the edge of the checkpoint, falls back by half a second. Snow, call it winter because snow is falling. Panda in first place. Now Complex does a great overtake over into the reactor boost area, and Glass falls into third.
Blast is going to try and catch back up. NumeLops, they need this ace. They need 2 in a row, in fact, in order to bring this map back and tie the series back up. Deny match point to their opponents. They're in position to get that first ace at the moment. Snow is close behind them, and Glass is still close enough that a big mistake would allow them back into this race immediately. But with Panda and Complex cruising off into the distance, no big mistakes on the identity means that they still have a chance on the map. They're keeping it clean all the way through. No mistake. Panda's slow. It's enough of a mistake to allow Snow through. This one's done. BS+ Competition move to match point.
Complex puts together another massive time as well, but it's not enough. Huge. Panda clips a wheel on the last. Just the transition from the pipe to the grass there. And it's enough. It's enough for Orks to pounce on. For BS+ to pounce on the mistake. Now, series point for them. All they need, one more map. Finally, they've broken that curse of teams taking away their opposition's map pick, and we're on off-road.
And, well, they've done a good job of taking away their opponent's map pick so far. Do one more time on off-road, and we are done with our first match of the night. And it would be a big win for BS+ Competition as well. They struggled, honestly, up until our final week of play last stage to pick up any wins. They were sitting very far down that leaderboard at risk, basically right up until the end of not making it to the playoffs. And then they showed up massive in the final week, doing it here right at the start, beating NumeLops to kick things off, who looked for a lot of the season like one of the stronger teams. Would be a statement from BS+Competition that they are starting as they ended, that they plan on being a top half team this season. Yeah,
they're looking pretty immense so far, I would say. Snow and Glass, you know, despite the mistakes that they've been making quite a lot, setting some really good times and have a good amount of consistency. I would say more consistency than we saw from them for most of Stage 1, at the very least the first few weeks of Stage 1. So it's impressive from them. It's a little bit different. It's a different side to BS+Competition. Hopefully one that we're going to see a little more of over the course of the stage. But now on off-road, again, the game has changed. It's a different map. It's a different play style. And we're going to see if all of these players are fully prepared for this one. Panda goes in first and gets out first. Complex with a lot of speed, but loses quite a bit of it to a weird angle on the outset of the ice there. Now Snow and Glass trying to take over Panda to get some points out of this round.
Trying to keep on to it. I mean, Panda should feel right at home, the wilderness of this map, and so far he does. Is going to carry on at first place. Snow will overtake teammate into second, and Panda is losing a bit of speed at the moment. Might get caught, won't. Towards the finish line. 59.9 is a great time to kick things off, and all players within 2/10.
Absolutely brilliant round. Yeah, that's 1/10 away from the Challenger League record. We're still, you know, a long shot away from the Grand League record, but we're not going to see players breaking those anytime soon, I don't think. I mean, we got Sprout up next, and Dexter seems to have a knack for doing that, but we'll see later on. But yeah, no, this is really good. That's a great round to start things off. We're seeing a much more competitive track here, and I think off-road is one of those ones where most of the teams are well prepared for this map, and I think, you know, it's one of, like, the line is a bit, you know, difficult to learn, but apart from that, you can get it consistently, I think, once you learn it.
Yeah, it's just driving, isn't it?
It's just don't crash.
Just wiggle the car a little bit through the trees. Don't pay any attention. Don't pay any attention to the siren call of the cube fairies off in the trees. As we, you forgot about the cube fairies, didn't you, Twiggy?
Cube fairies, I forgot.
You gotta remember the cube fairies in the trees. Look at them right there. They are. Don't pay any attention to them. Stay on track and keep your car out of those trees and keep it quick. This is such a great race to the finish line. Panda keeps it cleaner. 59.7 from Panda, and Snow again less than a 10th behind.
Yeah, that's breaking the Challenger League record by 0.04. Very good time. We're inching closer and closer now to that record that you see up in the top by mine. And this is really impressive from both teams, their ability to keep up with one another. We've only seen a couple of mistakes so far here. Hopefully, we see even less as we go on forward, because we're having some banger rounds right now. If we can get the whole pack involved with that, absolutely beautiful.
And I mean, again, just the reminder that Grand League is 3 weeks into play already. Each of the teams has had 3 matches at this point. The Challenger League players are still on their first week. This is these players' first match. They're within half a second of those Grand League times, essentially on all the maps already that we've seen. Some great times coming through. It's only going to get closer as the season goes on. Those records are going to be under threat, and it means that in the Challenger League, even for some of the players like Dexter, like Scrappy, like Alternate Attacks, you can't be asleep at the wheel this stage. You need to put on your best performance, even if it is the Challenger League, so occasionally your opponents will drive into trees simultaneously. Yeah, Snow,
I mean, retains control of the car. I think the you know, the back wheel bed is a little ruined. There's another. Panda has increased the Challenger League record for the 3rd round in a row. Absolutely beautiful. Ace, gorgeous, from ORKSGP NUMELOPS after a couple of mistakes from BS+Competition. That is very unfortunate. There gives ORKSGP NUMELOPS back that time, or the points that they had missed out on earlier on, especially on that last map. And now, in the driver's seat, all they need to do, keep up that performance. But BS+Competition, I mean, those were some small mistakes. I feel like definitely not going to feel too upset by that.
They'll be feeling like they can keep it clean from here on out if they need to. But again, we are now seeing teams start to win on their own map picks, at least, which is a nice thing to hit halfway through the map at the very least. But it does mean the BS+Competition back to their own map pick after that would bring us on to breaking and potentially another chance to close this match out. Getting to the 3-1 scoreline gives you a lot of chances. Panda's in the wind somewhere, I don't know.
The pandas, they're blowing in the wind. Glass and Snow, first and second place, moving towards that finish line. It looks like ORKSGP NUMELOPS have gifted them back those points. It's a good round from both of them, but it doesn't need to be. ORKSGP NUMELOPS now, Complex and Panda trailing, and it is a 5-5 scoreline.
I did not understand the reference, Twiggy. I'm sorry.
The answers are... oh my god, okay.
Okay, I'll believe you.
Okay. You know what? It's Bob Dylan. Fine.
Oh, listen, what am I going to do? Listen to
you guys don't listen to music from 1963? Huh? Why not?
No. Well...
Why not?
I can't speak, or
I don't actually know if I've ever listened to the song. I just know the song.
I know of it. I don't know it. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You know, that's reasonable. Hey, BS+Competition have tied things up. This is going to be close, and BS+Competition could still close it out here. It's going to be harder to, with potentially losing this round, but we've seen monster performances from Glass so far, especially on pool, in order to deny wins, to turn losing rounds into draws.
Yeah, one of the awkward things about this track... oh, you could just see it coming from a mile away. One of the awkward things about this track is if you make a tiny mistake, there are so many speed checks in the first half of the map that you have to respawn. Like, you have no chance, and that loses you a lot of time from what could be a very simple mistake like a wall touch. Now it's just Panda and Glass, first and second place, fighting for that position, trying to just make the most out of this round for their team, and they're swapping places back and forth. Glass, he's only a couple of thousandths behind, but I don't think it's enough to overtake Panda. Panda gets it done by 17,000th, and it's a new best time, if I remember correctly. We're getting closer and closer to that Grand League record there, and it is the round win for ORKSGP NUMELOPS. What a beautiful little race there between Panda and Glass at the end.
Panda really just said, not this time. I am not letting Glass deny us another round win by sniping me at the finish line. And holds him off by 16 thousandths. It was absurdly close either way. And it does mean that ORKSGP NUMELOPS, with that round win, move to 7 points, move to within an ace of winning the map from here, and a chance to move ever closer to getting us to a map 7 decider.
Really important now that they buck up and get this one done. Panda in first position. Glass and Snow still splitting that difference from Complex, who has made a lot of errors here on this map so far that have cost his team quite a few points at this point. Set some great times as well, but you know, if you can't get that consistency down when it matters, it's going to be very difficult to get that thing out of it, and you know, you need it. BS+Competition on that series point, and Snow and Glass are still hounding down your teammate. You need to make up that half a second difference, and it's going to be pretty much impossible moving into the identity, barring any mistakes from BS+Competition. Now they're looking good, and Snow's overtaken Panda, and so is Glass. It looks like it's going to be real tight to the finish line. It's a 59.7 to get first place. Snow gets that overtake done, forces back that point difference to an 8-8.
Functionally, we are already in overtime. The next team to win a round will win this map. BS+Competition still with the chance to close things out right here with a 4-1 win over ORKSGP NUMELOPS. A great start to the season, very strong on their match score, and also maybe not really representative of how close this match has been so far.
Yeah, this is really, really tight now, and Panda and Complex are going to be feeling the pressure more and more. BS+Competition, they've got a 2-map, you know, cushion going on. You know, they can afford to make mistakes. Obviously, it wouldn't be great. You don't want to be playing for any longer than you have to be. But at the same time, Panda and Complex, they can't afford anything at all. Snow has fallen over before the ice there. Rather ironic, honestly. But Complex and Panda now have that opportunity to get back a couple of points. Obviously, a draw, as you said, it's functionally overtime already. Draw means absolutely nothing. You just need 2 points, and you get this one done. Can Panda get that overtake on Glass? He has a little more speed, it looks like. Maybe if he gets a better angle here on this final turn, he can get it done. He has more speed, but it's not quite enough. Glass stays in first place. It's 59.6, and Panda, although setting another 59.6, just can't get into first position. It's another draw.
We have seen touches on that final tree before the finish line multiple times from multiple teams and multiple players, and you can still finish. It doesn't cost you a lot, but it does potentially cost you about half a tenth, and Glass manages to avoid it one more time tonight for BS+Competition. Out in front, Glass is an absolute hero, holding off both players from NUMELOPS, turning around where his teammate has fallen a little bit behind into a draw and keeping them in the map.
Panda now starts out in first position, and Complex has a better start than the last couple of rounds that he has had. It's going to need to bring out something special. This time, Snow in last place. Glass just trying to keep up that performance that he's had so far over this map. And oh no, there's a slide out on the ice from Glass, and that's not a great way to end things off. Panda moves into first position. Complex in third is good enough. That's absolutely great. Panda gets an awkward line, but he gets a good exit. Complex now in second position. Glass is down by 6 seconds. It looks all but over here for BS+Competition. Snow gets into first place though, and that's exactly what they need. Complex has more speed. He can't quite catch up. Snow stays in first. He gets it done at 59.9, and it's another draw. Oh my lord.
We're still going 10-10. We are now in overtime for real. It will go into the books as an overtime. 2 draws in a row with less than a tenth separating a team from a win. BS+Competition will hold on, and for as much as I praise Glass for clutching up, Snow has done it nearly as often to keep them in these maps.
Panda and Complex must be sweating right now. Do pandas sweat? Are they like dogs where they pant?
I don't know. That's it's a very
Either way,
image.
the stakes are too high to get bogged down by zoology factors. Panda now, Complex falls back. Panda trying to keep up now with Glass and Snow, who look like they want to finish this off right here, right now. Make it a 13-10 scoreline. They get really good entries towards the ice here. Barring a slide out, they should get a good exit as well. But Complex gets an even better exit. Less speed than Snow, but does get ahead and does close up that difference. Now Snow and Glass out in a 1-2 position. Can they finish this off right here? Panda down by half a second. It's not a massive difference. It could all change towards the end. Who knows? Maybe someone will miss a checkpoint, but Snow and Glass look like they're going to finish it off. Complex overtakes one, but he can't get the overtake on Snow, and that is it. It's a great round to finish things off, but it is BS+Competition who take the series.
59.7 at the end. Snow said, fine, let's end this. And this time around, Glass there keeping up. No mistakes from BS+Competition. And really, that was the only thing holding them back at the end. They were getting in their own way. They finally get out of their own way. They pick up a win, and it is a 4-1 win over ORKSGP NUMELOPS. What a start to the stage for BS+Competition.
Really impressive, especially considering last stage, ORKSGP NUMELOPS were the ones who had a really good start and then kind of fell off towards the end. It was the opposite for BS+Competition. If they're starting out this way, I don't see why they can't, keep going. And I think we're seeing a lot of teams that are really pushing for that top 4 in the Challenger League. So I'm really interested to see how that will progress over the course of the 7 play days. Really good stuff. But if you're fighting from the get-go, that's a really, that makes things a lot more intense.
NumeLops, look, it was there for them as well. They had pace on several of the maps. It was just the consistency. And start of season, that's understandable. Unfortunately, means if you run into an opponent who is slightly more prepared than you, who has the same pace and maybe a little bit more consistency, it's going to be very, very difficult to pick up those match wins, pick up even the map wins. And we see that with a final 4-1 scoreline, despite the fact that ORKSGP NumeLops looked competitive the entire way through. It is BS+Competition who do come away with that win in our first match of the night, but we still have a second match of the night to go. The newcomers Ascent will be taking on Sprout, and that's a team I think we can definitely get excited for, and seeing what kind of form they come in. It's a maybe not a coin toss, but maybe not far off. But looking forward to seeing what they decide to do for us at the start of this stage, and we'll see you after the break for it.